All right, a comment. Of course, like I told you, this negative's going to start coming and whatnot. And, how can you insult and cut down our churches? They have saved so many souls, brought so many people from darkness into the light. I did not condemn or cut down your church. I told you it was a positive thing. Pay attention to the things I'm saying. Pay attention to the videos or just stay off the video. I mean, if you're not going to really pay attention, then don't. But if you're going to fill yourself full of negativity and make the message negative, you're not going to learn anything or gain anything from it, anyways. Okay? You get that? I wasn't condemning any church in any way, shape, or manner. But as far as spending all these years trying to teach people the gospel, I mean, like when I want to teach it to younger children, I teach them about the lamp. As a matter of fact, I'll show you. Okay, with the lamp, it provides light. You can see everything around you, and you're safe as long as you're by the light. But the farther you start to walk away from the light, the darker it starts to get, until finally you're in the dark. You can't see anything, nothing around you. And it's so easy now at this point for you to stumble and fall and possibly kill yourself. It's very dangerous right now here in the dark. So you need to go back to the light. Seek the light. There you go. I just taught some children the gospel. Teenagers. All right. Got a big hiking expedition. And you got your guide giving you all the rules and regulations and to stay on path and follow him. All right. But as they started to go, he was backing up as he was finishing the explanation, didn't see the rock behind him, tripped, fell, broke his leg. Oh no. So he's going to have to leave and take off and get help. Um, a lot of these were experienced hikers, so it's not like they didn't know what they were doing. It's just this is a trail none of them have ever been on before. So, and they were getting angry as they were loading the instructor up there, yelling, we spent a lot of money and whatnot. We came all this way. We really want to do this trip. Okay, okay. So the instructor gave them full instructions. Now stay on this path. Follow my instructions I've got wrote out here. And do exactly as I say and stay in a timely manner. Stay on pace. Because the time, weather, and day, it'll creep up on you. So you want to stay on course and you'll make it to your destination. They all agreed. Okay. So off they went, 6 of them. All right. And as they were going along and whatnot, and up through the mountains and all this and whatnot, and 2 of the guys are like, man, it's going to take forever going around this ravine and up that huge mountain and then back around and down. But look over here, man. This valley right here. We could cut right across this valley and be over there a lot faster than going way around like he wants us to. I mean, that's a better trail. So, and the other people are like, no, you heard what he said. In order for, we'll get there a lot faster if we go this way. And they're like, no, you heard what he said. Those 2 just like, you know what, we're experienced. We've been doing this for a long time and whatnot. And I understand he's a professional and all, but we know what we're doing. So off they went. They're taking their shortcut through this valley. But little did they know that was a gaming trail. And shortly after they got down into the valley, they were eaten, tore to shreds. A couple bears. So, in shock and awe, everybody, whoa, they kept on their path. They kept moving forward. Well, actually, they didn't even really see it. But anyways, they're going along. 2 of the hikers are like, hey, look at that overpass over there. I mean, yeah, it's a little narrow, but if we make a way along that edge, we could cut tons and tons of walking over that mountain and be on that other side a lot quicker. I mean, it's a little sketchy, but we're experienced. We've been doing this a long time. We could do this. Many other ones are like, man, that's not a good idea. You see what happens? I mean, we got to stay on trail. You heard the instructor. They're like, listen, we're professional, we're experienced, we know what we're doing. So they take their path they think is going to be easier. They're going along and it's going perfect, man. It's working perfect. They're almost there, man. They're just about to get there. And a weak spot in the rock, and it crumbled, and they both fell to their death. The other two just stayed on path. Did exactly like the instructor said, stayed on path, and they endured to the end, and sure enough, they reached their victory. There's a gospel to teenagers. Stay on course. Follow the narrow path that you were told, and you will reach your destination. I mean, there's several ways that you can preach the gospel in a story and not have to spend hours, a bowl of cereal. Yeah, breakfast. You got one kid that, make sure you eat all sugar. You're going to need the energy and all that, and so sure enough, oh yeah. They eat the full bowl. They get all that energy. They have a great day. They have plenty of energy for the day. They do good. You got the second kid that's in a hurry. His friends are out waiting outside, and I don't have time for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. And parents, you got to have something to eat. So he at least got half the bowl in and out the door. And the third kid just, I ate earlier, blah, blah, blah. I'm not hungry at all. I don't want nothing. So they all went and did their day, Well, the one who ate the full bowl of cereal, like I said, his day went great. He had plenty of energy. He was achieving goals. He had proper thinking, was getting all A's. And the second kid that only half a bowl, he had an all right day, but, he started to lose energy and, didn't really care much about doing this or that, near the end of the day. And third kid, he was having a great time. Started up playing, having a great time, but then he started getting weaker and more dizzier. And things started getting more distant from him. And it started getting cloudy and darker and darker and darker. And he passed out. He ran out of energy. Okay? Why is breakfast the gospel? Well, it's trying to tell you. You get in it, you get the full of gospel. You get the full of it. You can endure anything. You got the energy, you got the power, you got the strength to endure anything. You only get into it halfway, and just kind of get some knowledge of it, all right, God, and there's a Jesus, and there's a Holy Spirit, You'll endure, but you're going to struggle. And the one that just, that ain't for me. Yeah, that ain't for me. Their life's just going to fade away. So there's so many ways that you can describe gospel to people that can't read that book or understand it or understand even what you're saying when you try and explain it in a scriptural form. So sometimes you got to dumb it down and explain it in a more modern version. That's why I said with a lot of people nowadays, you got to take the past and bring it into a modern version to get them to see the concept of the message that's being said. It makes it easier for them to understand rather than, because that's like trying to give 12th grade education to a first grader. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to get it. They're not going to get an A. So sometimes you got to start it out in a children's book and work it way up into the gospel, So that's all I'm trying to get at, That's why, once church just needs to hurry up, educate a few people and get them out there, let them go and start their own, and bring in new. You got to trust God to fill your church. You got to trust Him to pay the bills. You can't worry about it and think about that, because when you start doing that, you're defiling what the purpose is, the source. So the important thing about having a church is to trust Him. And believe me, I'm going to tell you later on stories of churches that shows this true commitment and love and how well God works with them. That'll be later on.